So in this video, I want to talk on another aspect in which religious groups and religious dogmas and ideas and ideals and traditions would use to control others. And they do control every aspect of your life. If you notice, all religion is about, it tells you when to eat, how much to eat, what not to eat. There is always a certain rules and benchmarks to fit into. When should you be intimate with your partner or not, even on that level. And they tell you what you should be ashamed of or not, and what you should be feeling good about or bad about. All this, it wants to define you. Instead of you defining yourself based on who you are on the inside, or using your spirit, using your soul, using God to tell you who you are and who you are not, which comes from true connection with within, they would want to tell you who you are. They would want to define you, and then they want to put you in a box, put everybody in a box, and then tell you, okay, these are the guidelines, this is the list of things, this is the list of do's and don'ts, and this is what you should eat or don't eat, or say or don't say, or be or don't be, and accordingly you will fit into that box, and then only it will be acceptable. Otherwise you are going to be condemned. Everybody around you will treat you in a certain way. See, that's why it's about conformity, and try to force you to fitting in, persuade you to be something, so that you will all conform to a certain perverted norm, a distorted norm, which was forced on you, coerced. You were coerced to live a certain way, or be a certain way, or do certain things, or not do certain things, only so you would gain the approval and you would fit in the box, and all these things. And one major aspect through which they do this is fasting. Again, I come back to this because there's a bunch of crooks that were controlling me and manipulating me all my life. They belong to Christian group, and they wanted to play with controlling the diet with me. So they used to force this ideology onto me about fasting and all that. The funniest thing is, I was with God since birth. I already told you how early on I discovered the truth in me, and how I asked God to keep me away from the filthy people around me, so that I won't become like them. And God did not put any rules or guidelines or list of do's and don'ts in a direct fashion like that, just so I would fit in something, an ideology. But suddenly, when these people were so busy controlling and managing and manipulating my life heavily through black magic and mind control and extreme manipulation, like hacking into phone and controlling the videos I watch and what videos I should watch, so that they can control the narrative, just like they're controlling the narrative behind my back. The stories that they were telling me non-stop about me, putting my precious name onto their filthy mouths and minds and dragging it through the mud. So when they were doing this, they did heavily with the Christianity in their mind. And the fasting was a big thing. They had forced these fasting things onto me heavily during that phase. At least 3 years, heavily. And funny, right? I was with God all my life, and He never put any specific restrictions and guidelines onto me as to what not, what to be, what not to be, or what to eat and what not to be, and all. It all came from inside. Even when I mentioned I was always a vegetarian, I was very happy with being a vegetarian, and how even eating egg was uncomfortable, and why it was a forbidden thing and I did not like it. It was using those certain food items, they were entering into my system which they have no right to enter. Since I would not directly allow, they used the same manipulation, persuasion and coercion to make me eat certain things. It's only because they wanted to breach into the boundaries. And that's how I realized it was not godly. God didn't teach me directly. He showed me how it could be used against me. And when I wanted my privacy in such a way, I wanted my space in every way, shape and form, I refused to take in certain things. And that was a natural product of, and it didn't affect me in any way, shape or form. The same way with fasting. These people were heavily manipulating in such a way that fasting was the thing on them, because demonic things are like that, because they do on a certain specific days, certain specific dates, certain specific I don't know, they do a lot of astrological stuff, and based on sun, moon and star and other alignments, they do this because they are trying to pull energy from you and then mix it with the cosmic energy, and they want to harvest and manifest something for themselves. That's why it's demonic. There is a specific condition to it. If you don't want to eat a certain day and it's naturally coming from inside of you, you don't eat, that's natural, that's normal. If someone has to tell you, you do this way, that particular day, this particular occasion, this moon, that festival, that occasion, this timeline, this time frame, it's definitely demonic, because they need your energy. And by controlling your diet and telling you you have to do it, because it's a sacred thing, it's a sacred time and it's a holy time and God wants you to do it, and you're doing it while you are starving yourself, you're hurting yourself, your body, your vitality. You have a lot of things to do in a day, and what are you going to do when you're going to put yourself through that kind of starvation? But they will tell you what to do, what not to do, specifically what to eat and what not to eat, and drink or not eat, drink or not eat anything or not drink anything. They will control it. And that was heavy. And that has nothing to do with God, because it was never there before, never there now, after I disconnected with that heavy manipulation, after I transmuted all the magic out of my energy. How is that? That it was only there during that heavy phase and not before and after? It's a control tactic again, because they want your energy. If you starve and put yourself down, hurt yourself intentionally, it's pain. You're starving something inside of you for no purpose, no reason or reason at all. Your body didn't ask for it. You're putting it, through the trouble. And they're getting energy out of it. Again, like I said, it's electron in higher state to lower state. That's what they're doing. They wanted your energy. It's demonic thing. They wanted to harvest it. So they tell you it's holy, it's sacred, and God will punish you if you eat on the certain days and this and that. Scare tactics. They take your energy and do some rituals and do some harvesting, because for them it is one of those times when they can get the energy the most from you, from others. Because, like I already made it very clear, all deranged people are demonic by default. There is no soul in them. They were made to look like humans. Everything in them is an evil spirit, the demonic spirit. So all these people have same characteristics, and everything comes down to control. Control your hairstyle, control your how you dress, how you look, control what you eat and what you don't eat, and when you eat, how much you eat. When I mentioned in one of those videos when they were harassing and putting me through torture mechanisms, this was one of them I told already. They were controlling my diet so much that they were forcing me to vomit and go through diarrheas and severe health issues deliberately on certain occasions, certain ritualistic occasions, because they were stealing my energy so much and using so much heavy black magic and making me fall sick and forcing fasting on me. And then behind my back, everybody around me pretending to be the family members living in the same house, they were talking behind my back as if I am mentally ill, because all of a sudden she's all about God. Because see, I have traveled with God all my life, but this is the only phase during which I started actively telling, whenever they have to put their noses and all their body parts into somebody else's life. They have to intrude every single time. You need to justify everything for them. So if you're doing something, if you say I'm not eating right now, or if you say I'm not eating for so and so, let's say I don't want lunch, I don't want dinner today. Instead of saying okay fine and leave it at that, they want explanations. They would ask you questions. Like, why? Like, why is it? What's your problem? Do I ask every single thing in your life? Do I ask explanations and justifications for everything that you do or don't do in your life? Every single fucking decision? Then why are you so nosy about it when it comes to me? What's your fucking problem? That's what they used to do. They used to come and deliberately ask me, because they know they are heavily manipulating things, okay, both digitally and electronically and magically and spiritual, everything, emotionally. So they thought I was a fool. I was telling the truth. It was God. It's only that they were manipulating certain things because they wanted certain outcome out of their manipulation. And I used to say, I don't know. God told me not to eat, so I am not eating. And they used to be like, oh, she's mental. Everything she says is about God. Every time I ask something, she's talking about God. She's mental. Like, who is the real mental here? Who is the one twisted here? Who is the one who is rotten here? Who is the one who is doing shit behind the back, intruding into somebody else's life to the extreme, to the most extreme? And yet, who is the one calling the other one mentally ill? I mean, you got to tell me. And that's what they do. They come to you with certain things, and then the moment you open your mouth, it's only so that they can again start talking about you behind your back, about whatever it is that you opened your mouth about. And starvation is one of those things. They force the starvation onto you. There is no reason God will say don't eat, don't eat. If it is something from within your body, it will say you will do it and it's a natural phenomenon. You don't even have to talk about it. You don't even have to talk about it. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. You don't have to. Just like how come you're eating, how come you're not eating? It's as casual and simple as that. Nobody has to dig into it and say why, what, where, when, unless they are doing something about it and they want every single detail of it, you see? Because it's demonic. Because they have a purpose behind it. And this is the number one thing they use. By making you feel guilty. Oh, you're eating on this particular day. Oh, you're eating that particular thing. You have no idea the kind of things they are eating behind everybody's back when nobody is watching, in the dark. When they do sacrifices. When they go to the secret buildings and graveyards. Yeah, let's talk about what you eat then. This is demonic because they want your energy on certain specific times and dates, occasions. And so they manipulate everything around you to say, oh, you have to do fasting, you have to starve yourself, that is God's way of this and that. God doesn't ask shit like that. I say, you do all of that, but your soul is rotten, your morality is fucked up, your mind is so deranged, and all you do is throw mental illusions onto other people. All you want to do is throw damage into other people's lives. And the mouth, you use your mouth to speak lies, treachery, devious, fraudulent, cheap things, dirty things behind people's back, ugly, downright ugly, disgusting things about other people's lives, spells and curses, kind of things you do with your fucking mouth, with the mind, eyes, everything that God gave you. And then you have this holy pretense about it and say, oh, I've not eaten anything because it is so and so today. I have been fasting because it's so and so today. Well, who the fuck gives a shit about it? What are you on the inside? What's inside your fucking mind? What do you do with your mouth actually when you open it? What do you do with your eyes when you look at something good? What do you do? Let's talk about that. No. It's all about appearances and pretenses. That's one thing. It's demonic. Because they want your energy and you won't give it directly unless they give some kind of an explanation or justification. Just to look Make it look reasonable and rational, right? Just to convince you that it is a good thing to starve yourself for 1 or 2 days. It's okay, you won't die. But who said? You are saying it. Why? Because there is an explanation for it. That's why they want explanations from you also. Because in their world, like I mentioned in the just previous video, everything is okay as long as you have any words put together enough to make it look like a justification. Anything and everything goes. And this is part of that too. To make you starve yourself, to make you hurt yourself, to make it. This is hurting yourself. There is no need for you to not eat. You have things to do, you have a life to live, you have a body to sustain, and it's daily part. Unless your body is saying, okay, I don't feel like having anything for this particular time, there is no reason whatsoever for you to not have anything. Not for days, especially not for days. And this they do in every religion. I'm focusing Christianity because this group that targeted me is predominantly Christian, heavily. I know from the manipulation they did to me on all levels, and that's why fasting is a big BS. It's there in all religions. And specifically, it is around certain occasions, certain festivals, certain moon cycles. Even in Hinduism. How funny. How funny it's only during those harvest times. Because it's artificial moon. This was never real. It's never real creation. That's why they heavily rely on the moon. Because they come from moon. As in what? Lies, deceptions, manipulation, trickery, treachery, hidden, underhanded things. In the dark, unknown, unseen, unclear, fog, confusion, deception. See? It is literally what moon is, and that is where they were created from. The purpose of it was that. So for them it is very important. When it comes to moon, it's very, very, very important. That's why they distribute the entire calendars and entire occasions and festivals and cycles. Anywhere and everywhere they want to use, it's all based on moon. It is not real creation. It is not from God. That's why. When they started creating artificial world, it was predominantly based on deception, which is moon. All the adjectives I already mentioned. That's why. And that's why they hate sun so much. Sun is all about light, brightness, healing, truth, illumination, expansion, brightness. People can see everything. It's not like moon where it hides behind the shadows, shades of grey, confusion and illusions. You can see everything. It's the brightest sun. It's clear, it's warm, it's life. It's bright. It's happiness, it's joy, it's expansive, it makes things easier to look at, to feel, to think, right? Brightness. So fasting is a way to control your eating because it's a specific thing they want to do for their energy harvesting rituals. It has nothing to do with God. Just like every other religious, dogmatic, strict guidelines and so-called fake principles and fraudulent principles, rules, this is one of them. You have to see the contradiction in everything about these demonic beings. It's all about don't do as I do, but do as I say. Everything about them is deceptive, hypocrisy, fraudulent, contradictory, always. See, for those who don't like rules, they want to be free. Again, like I mentioned in the previous video, we want things to be so easily available and accessible for destruction for us. What's with all these rules and guidelines and limits and breaks and humps? Oh my goodness, right? Morality, I already talked about it extensively. For someone who hates rules and restrictions so much, they love to put it on others around them so much. See? For someone who loves freedom of so much, a fraud, a perverted kind of freedom. A real freedom comes with operating within the laws, respecting the laws, and freely moving around without doing anything wrong, so that you don't have any harsh consequences. That's true freedom. You do the right thing, you're free. You do the wrong things, you're going to bump your heads with the limitations and restrictions and laws and inherent rules of the creation. So for someone who claims to love freedom in a perverted sense so much, they love to take it away from others so much. How is it that? Because when I talk about freedom, I see freedom in every sense, in a dignified way, for everybody. So that everybody can do right and live freely. Nobody has to be trapped. Trapping is never real, it's all demonic, it's devil. The moment the evil rejected God and decided to exploit someone for their own gains, that is going against God. They ruined themselves. And now they are busy ruining others. So they did it to themselves, and instead of taking ownership for consequences, which is not a characteristic of their personality, they would do anything in their power to not take ownership for that, to not take ownership for their own actions, for their own choices, but would rather force everybody around them to, to take the fall for them, and in any littlest way possible. It's not even always about crime and keeping people stuck. Like I mentioned about the spiritual manipulations in day-to-day life, everything was about putting someone down so they can go up, which means putting their own negativity onto others so that they can elevate. So everybody is always around them taking fall for them. So someone is paying the price for someone doing wrong, but the advantages this demonic creature is taking, disadvantages somebody else is forced to pay the price. Because they're so compromised that they don't want to take accountability for who they are and the choices they make and the consequences that come with it. They want to go against the law. It doesn't work like that. They didn't make the law. They want to delude themselves into thinking so. That's why there is this God complex in all of them. Oh, I am above God. Oh, I am above karma. Oh, I am above punishment. Oh, I am above this. I am above that. No, you are not above anything. If anything, you are beneath the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of everything. And that's the truth. You also know it. That is why you have to twist the truth around so much to make yourself feel important or better than that. Better than your real reality, real truth of who you are. And it's the same with fasting. Anything, not just fasting, anything that the religious pushes onto you, any routine or any lifestyle or any habit or anything, it's all about superficial stuff. That is one thing. But what they're doing is on a soul and spirit level, exploitation. You don't know it. They're doing it for harvesting. They are doing it to place a control and restriction over you, and by doing so, they can take something from you. If you're free, they can't take, because the laws are against it. And you are meant to be free so that nobody takes away from you. Since they trapped you or put you under certain things, now it's your job to break free so that you can actually fully be free, so that nobody can even come anywhere near to take it. So by putting restrictions, putting in a box and controlling and managing and guidelines and rules and everything, taking away your freedom for theirs, putting away their restrictions onto you, because they're harming others, so God put restrictions on them. So they put the restrictions on you, and by doing so, they take the freedom from you. And you don't even know that's what is happening. This is basically what is happening. So be it fasting, be it with the dress, be it with the words, be it with language, be it with any habit and anything. The outside world tells you to do or don't do, or be or don't be. It's all about that. That is why they are so big on obsessive controlling, obsession on control, obsession on greed and power. Because they can't do it now normally in a real powerful way. They have to be obsessed because they know they don't have control. They don't even have control over themselves. So they have to be obsessed about controlling every single thing about you, because by doing a specific control over you, controlled experiment kind of thing, they can take from you, and only then they can be able to steal from you. Yeah. And for that you have to be willing to be controlled like that. Instead of listening to your own inner voice, you should be willing to listen to what outside things are telling you constantly. And that's what this inner gist, that is what it is about. And the fasting was the main thing. I just wanted to talk about it because I just remembered how heavily they were using it on me. And I also mentioned there are days when they put me on so much sickness that I was only eating boiled vegetables. And after a while they were watching with all the cameras and sounds, and they were observing everything, right? They were not happy because I was enjoying the boiled vegetables also. I was enjoying the plain water also. They wanted me to feel weak and tormented and on some low level so that they can take from me generously, or at least see the pain and discomfort in me and be angry that God is making me go through all this, or something, in anything lower, negative, down like them. And I was enjoying it. They couldn't bear it. They couldn't even bear that. Like, how we took everything away from her. We know she loves certain foods, and we took even that away from her. And we forced her to eat boiled vegetables, literally boiled vegetables. We controlled everything. And she's sitting here, just boiled vegetables and salt and pepper in it, and she's actually enjoying it. No. We have to harass her more. Yeah. So it will never be enough. Because everything is that sick level of perverted control and manipulation and sadism for them. Because only then they can take from you. Don't let anybody take anything from you. Freedom to eat or not eat. Again, I'm not condoning people who overeat and who are doing it in a perverted way. I watch a lot of people doing it. Oh, I love my body. And they are literally overweight and obese, and they disrespect their bodies. It's bad enough to starve your body and hurt it unnecessarily, and it's even worse if you don't respect your body and disregard its needs and claim it to be, I'm listening to body, I'm listening to myself. I can see there is a perversion to limits. Even you know that when you start eating, there is also a time to stop and let the body do its thing. There is a limit to everything. It's not like you wanna. It's like anything actually. It doesn't even have to be an alcoholic or other thing. It's just your normal food. You do anything overly, you burden your body like that, what it is gonna do? It's still a torture. It's as bad as starving it for non-stop whole day or 2 days, 3 days. It's non-stop. It's as bad. So both extremes are bad. That's what I'm saying. If anything, you have to feel the need to get the information from outside and overly rely on that information to define yourself, your life, and your body, and your choices, your mind, your lifestyle, your everything about you. Then you're already putting yourself up, in some kind of a danger, and you may not even know it. And you know it, you're not doing anything. It means you're not working towards that control and managing and putting a limitation as to realizing where the limit is. See, everything is healthy within the bounds, like the road and rules I talked about. There is a brake to the car, there is a speed bump, there is a speed limit, there is a certain kind of road, there is a certain traffic, there is left side and right side, and there is there are windows, there are mirrors, there are rules, and there are regulations, there is stickers, there is this lights, there is this warning signs, there is this what is it, certain instructions, guidelines, then this milestones. Everything is there as part of this. Why? Because this is how you actually enjoy your freedom fully. It's the same with body and mind. You don't want any of those things and just And there are regulations for constructing the road a certain way, for certain purposes in certain localities. If it's a highway, it's one thing. It's a normal road, it's one thing. And why? There are all rules for it, regulations for it. And why? Safety for it. Why? Weight limits. It's like that. There is a reason why full freedom can be enjoyed within those rules and limits and restrictions, because it's healthy and constructive. And then there is this perverted thing of saying overly restricting so I would gain from it or I would exploit from it. At the same time, the extreme opposite of I don't want any of it because I want to walk all over anything and everything. This wisdom will not come just like that. That's why I have to explain it like this. Even in food, even in thoughts, even in behavior, even with body, even with the dressing, there is always this clear extremes of both, and then there is a balanced version, and then there is a healthy real version where there is full freedom without having to go to any of this extreme, and it is fully healthy. And that wisdom will only come when you go through the path and when you go through the journey and realize it for yourself. I am showing you a perspective so you can see, but for you to see, you should have something in your soul to be able to awaken to it. If you are not on the growth level, you will see my messages differently. People on that level will see my messages differently. You see, man, the message is same. How are you picking on it based on your level? It's gonna be the same about everything in your life, including eating, dressing, speaking, habits, everything. And there are even more important choices: lifestyle choices, career choices, personal choices, domestic choices, professional choices, what you drive, everything. But you should know what works best for you in a healthy way and be comfortable within having those healthy rules so you can actually be free. So you don't have to live in fear as to who's going to come and crash on you because they don't like the rules. They don't respect the rules. It doesn't have to be like that, right? True freedom is about everybody going within that and fully enjoying the benefits of the rules. Not exploiting it or not taking it totally away, causing full chaos and destruction. And that same rule, that same wisdom applies for everything in your life. But you have to have the capacity to look at it and work on it and see it and make the corrections accordingly. I'm just saying it, I'm just showing it, but it's going to be your job to do something about it.